home of the stars, through the airwaves and on the big screen. Coming to you live from Hollywood, it's Rated G Radio with your host, Garrett Miller.
Hey everybody, welcome back to a fresh new week of Rated G Radio. We have Adrien Blackwell returning to this show tonight, but before we get to Adrien, I want to send some shout-outs out to various people who are tuning in tonight and also do a real quick preview for the rest of the week. Big shout-out to Chip Schutzman with Miles High Productions for the great concert on Friday night with Heart. Talk about an incredible experience. I call it a skybox, but it was a garden seat. And if you've ever been to the Hollywood Bowl, they have all of these seats it was like VIP seating. All of the seats are really close to the bowl area, and there's 4 seats to a box. And I shared a box with the lead singer from Anthrax. It was the craziest thing. I wouldn't know any of his music, but he was quite the charming gentleman. He and his wife or girlfriend or whoever he brought with him were there and just had a fantastic experience seeing Heart on Friday night. And then Saturday night went to go see Kelly Zerbe's with Kelly's Lot out of North Hollywood. They played to a sold-out crowd at the Mayflower Club for the great concerts this weekend. Tomorrow night we have transgendered trucker Patty coming on for Transgender Tuesday. We're going to have an hour of conversation about LGBT issues affecting the trans community tomorrow night. Wednesday we have Lisa Pini as our VIP guest psychic. So if you'd like to ask psychics questions, she'll be taking your call starting live at 4 p.m. Pacific. Thursday I have Alex Gershman with Sasha's Block. They have a brand new single out called Feels Like Jazz off of their hit album called Heart on Fire, and Alex is going to come on and talk about that. And then Friday at a special early Friday night dance party, we've got Mr. Alan James from New York. He's going to be doing I say it's a world premiere, but I'm safely going to say it's the U.S. premiere of his brand new album called Doors to Somewhere. That'll be at a 5 p.m. start time. Okay, so I'm going to bring Miss Adrien Blackwell on, but before I do the proper introduction of her, I want to let you know she was on last month, and she shared a couple of her healings with us, including taking care of your chakras, and I think taking care of the chakras was the main thing. But anyway, I now listen to that before I go to bed, or if I'm lucky enough to be able to try to sneak a nap in on the weekend or something like this. And I will tell you, I think I'm getting my chakras all cleared out. I've had more than like a day or two of having my chakras be all yucky, and so being able to have Adrien's healing kind of resonate with me as I'm going to sleep, or sometimes I play it during the day, or if I'm getting ready to take a nap. I think it's making a world difference. And with that, I'm going to say, Adrien, welcome back to the show. How have you been?
I've been amazing, but now I have questions.
Okay.
What do you mean it's been making a world of difference? What does that mean? It's like cliffhanger. Well, you just left us.
Okay. Well, it's kind of like, if you want to find out more, you have to do it yourself type of a deal. Okay, so here's the deal. I've been listening to your billionaire healing and then the chakra healing, and I don't know. When you and I first started talking, my life was full of a lot of stress from a lot of different things, and we had a great conversation, and you were just A+, amazing, fantastic. And we went through a couple of exercises, but then I started listening to these 2 healings that you offered to me, and there's just something about my life that is shifting and it's changing in really cool ways. And I really haven't done anything differently outside of the fact that I've incorporated your healings in the last month. And so I have to think that, whatever fantastic thing this is that you're sharing is really having a positive impact on me. So I only have you to thank. So thank you.
Ooh, you're welcome. And you're on my Facebook group page, so you've probably seen all the testimonials that are coming through, which I'm fascinated by.
Okay. And I have to ask you this. How in the world did you break the internet like 2 weeks ago?
Did I?
Well, you had this webinar that you were doing, and I guess it was last Friday. Was it last Friday? No, it was 2 weeks ago Friday.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little tardy to the party in most situations, and so I'm trying to sign up at 5:55, and it starts at 6 p.m. thinking, I've got plenty. you sold out, or something happened, because it was absolutely crazy. You couldn't call in, you couldn't get into the webinar, and you couldn't just do like a live listen off of the computer, because you had so many people that signed up for this thing. And I guess it was just, crazy fantastic. So what was your experience like doing that?
I was fine. And this is the funny part. I don't do partnerships, and that's my astrology even says, like, you work better alone and stuff. So I've been working with Daniela at Madam X magazine, and I was like, this is actually working out really well, even though I normally don't do well with partnerships. I'm loving this woman. And so when she got on at the end of the webinar, and she was like, oh my God, there were so many callers and people couldn't get in. I had no idea, because she was taking care of getting the registration. Like, I didn't have to worry about anything. That's how awesome she is.
Yeah.
And so I was shocked. Like, I couldn't believe it. And she got it all taken care of so people could get on. So she did an excellent job at finally taking care of it, but I had no idea until after I actually heard her say that, and then we talked about it afterwards, and I was like, that's incredible. That is really incredible.
So how often do you do these types of workshops? We've been doing them about every 6 weeks, and we actually I just today finished the list for the rest of the year. So for the rest of the year, we are going to be doing, let's see, we have Ultimate Freedom and Forgiveness, Transcendent Sexual Healing, The Thinning Veil to Open Up the Psychic Portal a day before Halloween. I have Work Smarter, Not Harder, Holiday Healing, which is surviving the holidays. And then we're doing a 12-week Master Manifestor course. And so we'll be doing that. It starts in October and ends, I think it starts in September and ends in November. And that will be once a week, where people will get healing work. They'll get their homework on how to, become master manifestors, and practice. So every week is a different exercise on how to use manifestation. And it's interesting, because one of my clients, who actually was just a one-on-one client, and I'm getting too many one-on-one clients to continue doing it, so I'm doing everything via webinar now. But she said our very last session, she never got back to me in my email. And I'm sitting here thinking, wow, it really didn't work for her. It's like the first person it must not have worked for, and she must not have really enjoyed what was going on, because I haven't heard from her. And about a month later, she wrote me back, and she goes, I am so sorry I haven't gotten back to you. I wasn't expecting our work to work as fast as it did. And so she was so incredibly busy and receiving free vacations. Not vacations and stuff that she honestly just wasn't available. And she's like, yeah, we're doing this again. So this is kind of like the results that we get on a regular basis with people who do the homework, who are consistent. And so I'm like, we need to reach more people, so we're going to do a 12-week course. I love this.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever think that you were going to be like a school teacher and doing, events where you're getting people to sign up in groups to learn from you?
When I was really little, I wanted to be a teacher. I actually thought I would teach kindergartners and stuff, but I also thought that I would be on TV, because I kept envisioning that, which I've already done. I had visions of a lot of stuff. I thought I was going to be, a fairy that went around on a broomstick, and it had to be a breed between fairy and witch, because I'd be on a broomstick and I'd see myself flying above people's houses, and I'd be sprinkling fairy dust on their houses and making them happy. Making everybody happy. And so in a lot of ways, I've been able to do it all. I've been able to be the teacher, and I've done the psychic work that I thought I was going to do, and, going around and sprinkling my own special fairy dust in people's houses through recordings. I've seen myself on TV. I've done that all around the world. So I've done everything that I really felt like I was going to do at 5 or 6 years old. I did not know that I would do this type of work per se, and then have it be as big as it is, or have as many testimonials that I'm having now. Like, I have so many testimonials. Somebody asked me the other night, well, could you write a book with all the testimonials that you've gotten in the last 5 months? And I was like, yeah, a small one. I could, because I don't know what else to do with them. and it's incredible, because I want to see people succeed. So you can imagine I truly am living my purpose. Like, I really am.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Well, just to further, kind of prop you up here before we get started tonight, Ashley in the Blog Talk chat room, she's been trying to call in. I will also share with the listeners, we've been having some technological issues in the last week. Last Monday's show, we couldn't even do because the phone lines were so blown up, we couldn't even log into the studio to get the show going. I don't understand what's going on. It's like a Mercury retrograde or Venus retrograde or whatever retrograde that's a bad thing that's affecting technology. That's been going on a little bit. So we have Ashley trying to call in tonight to tell you this. So she's typed this in the Blog Talk chat room for me to pass along to you and the listener. She says, just wanted to tell you that your healings have also positively impacted her life. Her depression is virtually gone, and I have actually found the love of my life, ... Actually, ... He found me. So thank you, Adrien.
I love that. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's the best.
Like, I don't even have to go looking for stuff anymore. Did you read the one that was posted today where somebody they purchased my oh my God, I don't remember the name. I have like 67 of them that I've created in the last 4 months, but it's entertainment industry careers. And so I was telling her that a friend of mine listened to him and have two things that happened, and one's been literally silent for 3 years and popped out of the blue 9 days after she started listening to it. So I felt like I had to share this with her, and she's been sitting on it for the longest time without listening to it, and I wasn't aware of that until last night. And so I emailed it to her just because I felt like I was supposed to, and she goes, oh my God, I've had it for so long, I haven't listened to it, I'm going to listen to it. So she listens to it twice yesterday and today. At her work, she has an opportunity. She likes to do musicals. That's what she wants to do. And now she has an opportunity from somebody who came in her job and heard what she loves to do and says, "Hey, we want your resume and your photo." Yes, it came to her. And then now this is fascinating to me, and I think it's okay to tell you this, but she's and everybody else who's listening. But one of her dreams is to play a certain character in a musical, and we've been talking about this for 9 months. She's been working with me via the phone. She started listening to my recordings, and so I've known that there's a specific character that she wants to play, and she found out she's now auditioning for it. That character.
Congratulations. That is
Isn't that
awesome
incredible? And this is like literally like 24 hours after listening. Like these two things happened. So I'm I'm doing cartwheels.
Energy is a really cool thing, and I love all that you do. Now, for everybody who is either new to the show this month, so this is your first time hearing Adrien Blackwell, can you tell the listeners a little bit about the how and why? Not like we don't need the whole encyclopedia like I made you do last time. You're like, oh my gosh, Garrett, please don't make me do that again. But kind of a little bit the abridged version, the Reader's Digest condensed version of how it is you do what you do, so the listeners get an understanding of what we're going to be doing tonight.
Well, as crazy as this seems, I started out as a celebrity psychic, so I've been doing psychic readings for people for a really long time, but I've also been doing healing work on the side, and I've been really honing in my craft and getting other healers to work on me, and some of them you've had on the show. Zoe was magnificent in doing some healing work for me. And so I literally have just been on my purpose, on my path, and healing myself as much as possible. And all of a sudden, one day, I had some interdimensional beings that came in. People might call them guides. They might call them aliens. You can call them whatever you want. Came in and talked to me and said it's time to start recording. And little by little, I've been receiving more information as my brain can comprehend what's happening. But apparently they are sending a frequency through me that I couldn't have dealt with before. My body couldn't have handled it. My mind couldn't have handled it. They've been sending me through training for the last 2.5 years to be able to actually handle this energy. There's a lot of people on planet right now that are dealing with this massive amount of energy, but it does take years. And so what we are doing in the healing work that we're doing is that we are channeling this energy through our bodies into other people so that they can get the healing faster than it took us to get it. So where it took me 2.5 years, it might only take you 2 months.
Cool.
So I've done the work for everybody. And so what I do is I record these sessions where I'm sending this frequency and it's being recorded. So where they found that if you blow a dog whistle, your ears won't hear it. But if they had electrodes connected to your brain, your brain would light up as if it heard it. So your brain is still processing information that you can't hear and you can't see, because as humans, we have really bad hearing and we have really bad eyesight. That's just a fact. And so this bypasses all of the conscious senses and goes into the subconscious mind and starts to change things very rapidly. from that perspective. And so that's basically what I'm doing is I'm changing people's subconscious belief systems. We're changing the collective consciousness. We are doing massive amounts of healing all around the world, which is going to change the planet. And it already is. You can see it just by one person. It's making a difference.
Well, and the list of people on your website that just are giving you rave reviews, I mean, it's a mile long. Like you said, you could fill up a book with it. And I think also the other thing as we get going is that, when and I'm sorry just to take everybody else's time, but I've got you here, Adrien, so I'm going to gush on you. But when I put your tracks on, and and I have them on the computer, and I have the volume low enough so I can still hear it out of my good ear, because one ear is better than the other.
Mm-hmm.
It is the most soothing thing for me to go to sleep to, and because if my mind is racing on a million other things, as it tends to be very often, I can put your healing for the chakras on my, well, I call it my iPad, but I'm looking at my computer. And the next thing I know, I'm like, I don't even think you've gotten to the part where you start the healing, where you say, okay, here we go, and I am out like a light.
Which the chakra one is only 3 minutes, so you're going out fast.
I'm going out really fast, and if I don't do that, it's the usual, it takes me a while to get to sleep. But when I'm listening to your healings, I'm also sleeping pretty much throughout the entire night, which is, I don't want to say uncommon, but it is really pleasant to be able to say, I'm going to bed, I've got something that's going to relax me, and at the same time, it's also going to help me, tonight, tomorrow, and in the future. And so I want to thank you for that, because to me, I think it's just been outstanding. So, I could be your testimonial all day long, but I know you've got miles and pages of them just to be out the door and around the block.
Well, first of all, you're very welcome. But second, every testimonial means the same. So if you give me a testimonial, I'm going to take it just like everybody else's, which is, wow, this is so amazing.
Yay!
Well, I have to share this with you just because it's so fascinating, and it'll give you an idea of this healing, because this is the first time I've ever experienced this in any healing work, period. But I created a new one. I'm creating a series, and it's for starseeds, people who believe that they're from other planets and they're here, and they come here as volunteers to help the planet ascend, come into a greater sense of consciousness. And so I've been doing this series for starseeds, and one of them is called Medical Starship for Starseeds, so that if they have any kind of ailments, if they're sick, that they can actually get a healing from their home planet. And so it goes all into that in the healing work. But I decided to listen to it because it was like the only one out of all of them that I have that I haven't just sat and listened to, because it's very different to record it as a teacher and then to go back and listen as a student. Because I will say things like I channeled something, and when I go back and listen to it, I'll be like, did I say that? Like, that's interesting. Like, I learned something, right?
Right.
And so it was the only one I hadn't listened to, and I was like, I got to see what I said. I want to hear what happened. And so I start listening to it, and I'm just laying in the bed, and I'm like really comfortable. And all of a sudden, as soon as I hear my voice, my heart starts racing and beating, and then a couple times it skipped a beat, and I think I'm going to have a heart attack. Like, I'm actually kind of scared at this point. So then all of a sudden, this white light comes into the room. So I'm like, I'm dying. I'm dying. And so all of a sudden it was like, well, if I'm dying, I need to make peace with that. This is a great way to go, right?
Yeah.
And so I make peace with the fact that I am dying. That's it. That's it. And all of a sudden, my daughter actually told me later on, she goes, you fell asleep. I was like, I was not asleep. I heard everything that was happening. She goes, no, I walked in the room and you were snoring. And I was like, okay, so I was asleep. And when I woke up, I was like, well, is it still playing? And I think I had like 3 minutes left. And I asked my guides, I said, what the hell happened? Because I'm still here. And they said, you left your body and you were going a little bit too soon. Because I guess normally you would be out. You wouldn't even know that you were leaving. So it actually made me leave my body. And I'm like literally consciously aware that my spirit is leaving my body. It tripped me out. So I just want to warn people, if they ever have that experience with my healing, you are not dying. Not happening.
Okay. Well, you also have some other suggested advice while listening to your healings. Do you want to cover that?
Do not listen to it while you're driving or operating heavy machinery is the only real advice that I have, and that's just because they can put you to sleep. It's bad too. It's not like, oh, I'm drowsy, I'm tired. I've literally been sitting up and fell asleep because they were too intense. And that's the thing, is I can record it and get energy. Like, I can run miles after that. I'm like, people are like, oh, do you get tired? No, I don't get tired. Like, it's like a battery. I've just been plugged in. But when I listen to it, even if I listen to it directly afterwards, there's times where I just can't. Like, I've literally laid down 3 different times when I've tried to edit them. And so, like, one of them, I don't remember which one it was either, but I was listening to it, and I fell asleep after, like, 2 or 3 minutes while I'm sitting up. And then when it went off, I was like, oh, I have to edit this. So I rewind it and listened to it again. It happened 3 times in a row, and I said, forget it, I can't do it. It took me 2 weeks to be able to acclimate enough to the energy to get through the whole thing. 2 weeks.
Yeah. That's great. That is great.
So, yes,
well,
I'm being healed, too.
We all need it, you know. So before we get to callers, I've got Margie who's called in ahead of time, and I've got a couple of other people I'm going to screen while you're talking to Margie. Is there anything that you want to cover or go through before we start taking calls tonight?
You know, there's a few things. One thing is that anybody who is listening to this, I am giving away a free gift if you email me. And my email address is really simple. You can either go to loveandyou.guru and look at my email address, or you can email me at ask@loveandyou.guru, and I'll be giving people a free download so that they can experience this if they've never experienced it before, because I really believe that one of the things for me is I've paid for so many healings and so many things didn't work. Not saying that these people aren't great healers. They just didn't work for me, that it's really nice to be able to try something for free and go, wow, this works for me. I want to spend all my money on it. Now my goal is to buy every single one of them, or, hey, this didn't really work for me. I'm going to find another healer that will. And so you don't have to waste your money. You don't have to figure all that out. And then I have the webinars, and hopefully get to work with some new people that are ready to completely shift their whole entire lives, because that's who I want to work with. Cool. And that's about it.
Well, then let's do this. I also want to let everybody know that if you are listening on the Blog Talk Rated G radio site tonight, there's a link to Adrien's website. You can do that. You can also like Adrien's, I call it the Facebook fan page, but it's really your private group that you have. And you know, you need to make sure to get connected in so that you can be one of the cool kids. So there we go. So with that, let's get to our first caller, and it's Margie. And again, Adrien, while you're talking to Margie, I'm going to screen the other callers that we've got, and I'll be back in just a sec. I'm going to leave the phone line here. So here we go. Margie, you are live with Adrien. Welcome to the show. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Hi, Adrien.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Thank you. How are you?
Wonderful. I am doing wonderful, thank you. I'm brilliant. My life is great. So how can I make your life great? What do you need help with today?
I guess I'm not totally sure. You know, I've looked at your website, and I'm looking at it right now, and just listening and not totally sure, you know, what all you do or understand it totally.
You said you're not really sure about what I do? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Sorry, the phone is going in and out. So I'm a healer is what I do, and I do something called Ascended Healing, and the recorded things that I create are called Ascension Codes. And so what I do is I move enough energy to transform people's lives. So it really just depends on what you want to work on. We can move some energy for you. And everybody who's listening to this, they will get the same healing.
Okay. So, like, you know, like pains, different things like that.
Pain works too. What are you experiencing?
Okay. Neck and shoulder right now.
Back and shoulder. Okay, that's interesting. I've been working on that a lot lately. And, you know, when you really look at that, it's about the weight of the world is on your shoulders. There's too much stress. There's too much going on, right?
Right.
And so it creates this world of pain because you feel like you've had to take on the world. And usually it's something that comes in really early on, 2, 3, 4 years old, where you feel like you've had to take care of somebody, like you had to take care of your parents, or you wanted them to feel better, so you decided to be their savior. And there's also the aspect of having a chaotic home. And when you have a chaotic home growing up, it's like you have to grow up really quickly. And so, again, the weight of the world is on your shoulders. So it's really about too much responsibility. Do you feel like that's been true in your life?
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay. So we're going to look at that. And I'm just going to see where in your chakras that's really being held at. Because usually if you're looking at back, neck, shoulders, you're looking at heart and throat chakra. And so for you, they're kind of bleeding into each other, but I feel like I want to go to the throat chakra more, which to me means that there's things that you want to say. There's words that you want to say that you haven't been able to. Somebody you want to confront that you haven't been able to. This, again, can be from a really early age. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to move some of that energy. And all you have to do is take a deep breath and just relax. A lot of this will be done in silence, but not too much silence because we're on the radio. So just go ahead and breathe that in. And we're just going to move all of that throat energy that's been pent up year after year after year, from past lives, present life, future life, even in other dimensions. And the one thing that I'm getting for you is that this has been passed on through your genetics as well. So mom had the same issue is what I'm getting. It's not dad, it's mom had the same issue. And what that means is that you both have been silent about the things that you've really wanted to talk about and wanted to say. So just imagine that you've been able to say everything you've ever wanted to say. You've never been silenced a day of your life, because that's the energy we're bringing in. It's what it feels like to communicate, what it feels like to be heard, knowing what it feels like to heal others, or heal others, hear. I keep saying heal. Hear others. And just allowing your throat chakra to open, knowing that your inner child is safe to communicate. So I want you to imagine that you're speaking up about something you want to speak up about, and just tell me what energy is behind it. Does it feel like, oh, that would be comfortable to do, or that would be really uncomfortable to do?
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable, okay. And what makes speaking up uncomfortable? What are you afraid of? What's the worst that could happen if you speak up?
Fighting.
Fighting, okay.
Not talking to each other. Yeah, not talking to each other because of it.
Okay, and what's the worst thing about not talking to someone?
Failing.
Failing?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting, okay. So just want you to focus on the fear of failure. And a lot of times what people experience is somebody stops talking to them, they feel rejected, they feel unimportant, not wanted, ignored, as if they don't exist. So we're going to be clearing out all that as well. It's a lot to clear out. And what I'm feeling for you is you need to know that the universe wants you. You need to know that the universe loves you. You need to know that you're always seen, you're always heard, you're always acknowledged, you're never alone. These are things you haven't quite experienced before. So we're just going to put that back into your throat chakra and into your heart chakra, because now your heart chakra is opening to the information. And this is going to heal in your genetics, which means that your parents will heal as well. If you have children, your children will heal. And it just clears all down the line so that this doesn't continue lifetime after lifetime after lifetime anymore. And so I'd like for you to think about communicating your feelings to someone again, and tell me if it feels the same or different.
It's the same.
It feels what?
It feels the same.
It feels the same, okay. So just keep focusing your energy on communication, the fear of communication, and just let whatever fears come up. It's okay. You don't have to hide it or pretend it doesn't exist. Just feel it. And you can feel the anger that's there too, because there's a lot of anger. And we're just going to push that anger out while acknowledging it at the same time, because we don't want to pretend it doesn't exist. And then we're also, I guess what's really coming up is not a current situation, but the fear that if I speak up, my parents won't love me anymore. If I speak up, I'll get in trouble. And that's what really needs to be cleared.
Gone, so.
What was that?
Both my parents are gone.
Okay.
Kind of. I guess it's not the word that I keep using, because, yeah, they're still around me, but you know what I meant.
Well, the programs come in when you're either in another lifetime or when you're a child. Like, science believes that you have the programs you're going to have about love, sex, and everything in between by the time you're 4 years old. So your 4-year-old is dictating how you communicate. That's what we're clearing out. We're letting her know she's safe.
Okay.
That she's still going to be loved. Okay. So I felt something clear out. I don't know if you're feeling it right now. If you're not, you'll be feeling it within the next 24 hours. Some people cry. Some people have emotional stuff happen, and then it just clears out. So it won't stay if you experience that. But how are you feeling right now?
The tightness up there, while you were talking, there was like a sharp pain in the chest that is now gone. Because within the last week, I've had like almost a choking feeling in my neck, in my throat and stuff, and then with the neck pain and everything. So yeah, it was just kind of like, okay. So yeah, it's a little bit easier to breathe.
Nice. Okay, and then how does it feel to think about communicating? Is it still scary, or has that changed?
Still a little scary. I guess it's something I've always had a problem with, so.
Don't expect it to stay, though. Don't hold on to it too deeply, because like I said, the energy is going to run for at least 16 hours, but I feel like for you, it's probably going to be about 24, just because it's so deep with you. So just expect that things can come up. Drink plenty of water. Take care of yourself, because this energy is kind of strong. So you could go through a lot in a very short amount of time. Okay?
Okay.
Well, thank you for calling in and letting me experiment on this specific issue with you.
Thank you for letting me be a guinea pig. I am going to enjoy getting to read more about you. And thank you very much for taking my call, too.
Oh, you're very welcome. Good luck to you, and have a great night. One of the things that, Adrien, can you tell everybody that's listening, if we have somebody that's asking a question tonight, who gets the benefit of that? Is it only that caller?
No, everybody. Everybody who's listening in will receive the same healing. So I've had a lot of experiences where I'm like doing a webinar and I'm only speaking to one person, and everybody else will be like crying, or like one webinar I did, we all got headaches, because our third eye opened, like completely opened. And so everybody I was talking to, I was like, how are you feeling? Well, I have a headache. How are you feeling? Well, yeah, I have a headache too. So I had to lessen up the energy, and everybody's headache went away. So everybody's feeling it. Like because this energy, it transmutes time and space. I mean, it goes through walls. There's nothing that can stop it. So it's going to go to whoever essentially wants it, and then it will ripple out into your family members and the people you come into contact with. So,
well, while you were talking to Margie, my eyes started watering. I don't want to say it was a cry, because it certainly wasn't that, but I had like water coming out of my eyes.
Let me be a man and not say I was crying.
Well, if I was crying, I'd be like, but that wasn't it. I'm sitting here going, why are my eyes watering? Anyway, so, okay, very interesting. Okay.
That's awesome.
We're going to get to our next caller here, and it is coming from Diana. Diana, you are now live with Adrien. Go ahead, please.
Hi, Adrien. That sounds great.
Hi.
I feel like I know you. I'm a starseed, and I do work with the Starship with the medical team. And I've had psychic surgery. Definitely
awesome.
I've had psychic surgery more than once, because you can't get me near a medical operating room. Unless they're medical doctors on the other side. That really
I got to talk to you more about that. Like, when you need to go find my Facebook page. I'd love to ask you about that one.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I really believe that the ships are coming down in next year, and we'll be working on it. People will be regrowing limbs and stuff.
Okay, we'll have to see how that unfolds.
And
for sure.
The people that are paralyzed will get healed and that kind of stuff. People will get their lives back. When this happens, if they don't die when they watch it happening, if they don't die of shock.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. So what's going on with you? How can I help you today?
Well, I would like for my knee to work. I've had several different healers work on it, and if it worked, I'd be able to walk again and lose weight and feel better. And
so what's happening with your knee?
It's just like bone on bone. It's degenerated. I'm 61 years old now, and I've refused every surgery all along the line for this knee. I've just always would rather have either prayer healing or spiritual healing of one type or another. So the joint needs to be rebuilt, and I have let somebody try to do that, and it did get better, but my knee gives out on me, and it hurts a lot. And it's not just the knee, it's the whole leg. There's vein damage and goes down to my ankle, my right leg.
Well, for this one, I definitely think it would be a lot longer than a quick call on a radio show. But I'm going to see what I can do anyways, just because anything is possible. For you, this isn't going to be this lifetime. It's not going to be a wound that was created in this lifetime. This is a karmic pattern that you have. And so there's something that you did or experienced in a previous lifetime, and it's coming full circle in this lifetime. And so once you figure out what that is from that lifetime, then you can be able to actually heal that because you're like, okay, I'm done with it. So it's being brought to your attention. This is happening to be brought to your attention so that you can become aware of it.
I've already done that, and I've already said, now I know, and I don't need it anymore. But when the knee joint is like, they want to know why I won't just have a knee replacement. It's no big deal. Why won't you just have a knee replacement? I already know. I got shot in the leg and lost my leg while I was running away from captors, people who captivated me because I was an oracle. One of those things. I already know what happened to the leg in the past life, but I want it to work in this life because it has. Sometimes
you're going to have to
really
heal it from a previous lifetime, so that means it hasn't healed, and I don't think that's the lifetime. I mean, you've had probably hundreds and thousands of lifetimes. That would just be one. But what's interesting is my mother has had 5 different surgeries on her legs, and she still doesn't have a knee. She still doesn't have a knee in there. So it makes sense why some people don't want surgery. There might be a reason for it. For you, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to let go of what you think you know. Just completely take a breath and just let it go. And what we're going to do is we're just going to ask your starseed family to come in and show you, consciously or subconsciously, what lifetime this is coming from, what you need to know from this experience to download that energy of education and knowing and learning about what's happened. To allow you to heal, to allow yourself to heal for the betterment of yourself, your family, and this planet. And we're just going to bring in all that energy, and it feels like it's an extreme wave of energy. It feels like it's a lot of energy. And what's actually coming to me is that there's more than one lifetime, but the one that seems really significant is you're actually a little girl, and you're wearing some kind of brace on your legs. You came into this world where they weren't working correctly. And that was your path. That was your path. It wasn't for you. You were teaching your parents. You came in as a teacher. And so there's a part of you that still wants to be a teacher, and you associate being a teacher with the issue with your legs. Because for you, you haven't changed. You're still the same person.
I'll give it to both legs. It's the right leg.
Okay.
Left leg is fine.
And in the lifetime that I'm seeing, it's both legs that you had it in. So we're just gonna focus.
Take that in. No.
Yeah, we're just gonna focus on that lifetime because we want to heal it in that lifetime, so it will follow you into this one. But yeah, your legs represent your ability to heal others, to teach others. And so we're just going to heal that little girl and let her know that she did her job. She did fantastic. She followed through, completed her contract, and it's no longer needed in this lifetime. And just allow that to take place. I'm going to put that in all your chakras. So wherever you're storing this lifetime, wherever you're storing these stories, those get cleared out. I'm actually getting it from your lower back, so we're looking at belly button chakra. So we're definitely looking at the feminine. But this is how the feminine deals with being a teacher. If you were a male in this lifetime, it would be very different. So we're just going to clear out all that feminine energy that's stuck and believes that this is how the feminine reacts. And every single person who's listening to this, whether you're male or female, is going to get the same healing because we're all male and female parts. One cannot exist without the other. And they're also showing me we need to open up your third eye, so we're just going to allow them to open up your third eye.
It's open. It's got a jewel in it. It's been open a long time. You can open it bigger if you want.
So we're just going to allow them to do whatever they need to do so that you can heal. And what I find very interesting about this work is that, our bodies only accept so much information. We're so limited. And so in a lot of ways, being on this planet, if we want to heal, if we want to change, we have to rely on spirit. We have to rely on, interdimensional beings. We have to rely on the people that know, the universe that knows. And so just open you up to receiving all the information that you're not tapped into. Any resistance that you have to the information, any resistance that you have to opening your third eye, any resistance that you had to healing, just allow them to take it. Okay, so I felt a shift, a completeness with what I'm working on. Take a few days and see how you feel. This is definitely going to be something that's downloaded to you in your sleep, so you may have some really strange dreams. That's going to be happening, which people do report. But just allow them to clear out lifetimes, because this isn't one, like I said, I saw one specific lifetime that they wanted me to clear, but this is lifetimes. So there's going to be several lifetimes that still need to be cleared, but we already got the process started for you. Okay?
That's great.
Awesome. Thank you for letting me work on you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Diana. Have a great night. And our next caller is going to be Joellen, and then we're going to be taking a question from the Blog Talk chat room. So, Joellen, welcome to the show, and you are live with Adrien. Go ahead, please.
Thanks. Hi, Adrien. Love and light. I am so grateful that I got on. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. How can I help you today? How can I make your life better?
Well, I have been going through a really confusing period. I find I do something, and then when I get tired of it, I move on, and I'm at that point where I'm a creative person, but I feel very stuck, and I don't know what to do next, and I don't know if I'm in the right place, and I don't feel like, kind of like your very first caller, where I feel like I'm not sure if I belong. I just, I don't feel validated. I don't, I want to feel belonged. I want to feel like I know where I'm going. I want to feel motivated. I want to feel driven in what my passion is. And I want to just eliminate the confusion so I can forge through and then help others in return.
Okay.
I felt like I was supposed to be a teacher. It's just I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing next. I've done the teaching, and I need to know what to do next.
So why do you have to know what to do next?
Because I don't like the floundering that I'm going through. I'm floundering.
So if
it doesn't feel comfortable.
So if your next step in life, what if I told you your next step is actually to start enjoying the process of not knowing, and that actually is your step? Could you enjoy that?
No.
Okay. So what?
Couldn't, because that's what.
So what ends up. So what ends up happening is that you're on your path and you're on your mission, but you're not going to be willing to see it because you don't want to be on it. You're not willing to be where you are. So that's where I would start with the healing work. And we all go through periods like this. I mean, I'm not even putting you down for it or going, "Ooh, you're so wrong," or anything, because we all go through this. I mean, it's unfortunate. It takes us a lot longer to heal.
I wouldn't mind if that were my path, and then I would have plenty of money to do it. But you kind of need the finances to go along with, like, just enjoy. Well,
you want to know what they tell me? You want to know what they told me? And I will share with you all of this experience. When I was really hard up financially, when things were really, really difficult, they would always tell me it wasn't important. And I fought it tooth and nail, and I fought it tooth and nail for years. And do you want to know, I suffered, and I suffered, and I suffered. And it wasn't until I finally said, you are right, it doesn't matter. What is my purpose on this planet? What am I supposed to be focused on? Well, you're supposed to be focused on healing. Well, let me focus on healing. I don't have financial issues. It's amazing when you stop worrying about the finances and you realize, you know what, if I was homeless on the street, that obviously is my purpose of being here. Am I really here to work a job so that I can have a roof over my head? Was that really what my intention, or is that what the government tells me I'm supposed to do? What is the universal intention? And so when you're clear on the universal intention instead of what the world is telling you and the collective consciousness and everybody else is telling you to do, watch and see what miracles happen.
I think it would make me feel more comfortable if, you know how you just said specifically, you're like, you just want to focus on your healing, then you have a purpose. You know what you're doing, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, even if I told you what you were supposed to be doing, you would still be uncomfortable with it. So that's what we're going to heal. We don't want to be in the resistance anymore because the resistance just brings more resistance. So what we're going to do is we're just going to look at your chakras and see where your resistance is. Where are you fighting? Where do you believe that this has to be? Throat chakra too. This is interesting. Okay, so where do you feel like you have to fight? Where you feel like this has to be difficult? Because right now you think your path means you have to be difficult. See, this is why I'm doing the webinar, Work Smarter, Not Harder. So we're actually going to do that healing for you. There's a lot more to it, but we want to give you that energy. And usually people feel this one within 3 days. Their whole entire mindset changes. Whew. Okay, so throat, work smarter, not harder, so let's do that one. So what you're going to do is you're just going to learn how to stop making everything so difficult. Life doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to fight for love. You don't have to fight for money. You don't have to fight to exist. You don't have to try to convince people that it has to be difficult for you or that it is difficult. You can get out of that story. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yep. That's all in the shoulders. That's like you're just carrying that around like, oh, here's my story. Not anymore. Yep, I see the story changing. Okay, I'm getting a light buzz in my head, so we have some crown chakra stuff happening now. So now you're receiving information, and what you're going to receive information on is how to work smarter instead of making everything so difficult. So now you're going to get the ideas on how to make more money. It could be ideas on how to have residual income instead of having to work for money. It could be
the motivation. I need the motivation.
The motivation isn't necessarily important. I thought that it was for a long time, so every time people said motivation, I'd start working on it, and then they're like, why do people have to be motivated? You think when the check comes, they're not going to be motivated? And I'm like, oh, okay. If you got $1 million, I guarantee you it's going to motivate you to do something. So let's just let the motivation take kind of like its natural course.
Okay.
But you're allowed to relax and still have things happen, right?
Yes.
See, that motivation was resistance. It's so interesting. This stuff is so amazing. I have to go back and listen to this radio show and be like, what did they say? I need to learn from that. Okay, so we're just releasing all that resistance. There's a lot of it too, but it's going nicely. There's no resistance to releasing it. There's just a lot of resistance that's releasing. Okay, your mindset is going to be changing. So everybody who's listening to this, if you've worked hard for love, if you worked hard for money, if you've worked hard throughout your life and you don't want to work hard anymore, this healing is going to transform things within about 3 days. You notice things being easier. Your mindset is easier. Some people don't notice it, but other people around them will. Or you'll notice after a certain amount of time that, I think that actually happened really easily. Because a lot of people don't realize that they're shifting until something major happens, just because it's a natural shift, even though it's happening quickly. Okay, are you still in your story that it has to be difficult and you can't figure out your life and it can't be easy and you need to know right now? Do you still feel the same way?
Well, little.
A little, which means something changed.
Okay, I'll give you that.
So what is it that you still feel like is your block? Like, what do you still feel like you have to have? Like, you absolutely have to have it.
I just, in my heart, I keep hearing I'm not good enough.
Okay, so let's remove that.
I don't deserve it.
I'm so glad you came up with that. It made my life so much easier. All right, so here's the 2 ways that I like to do this, and I'm just going to ask. Yeah, we got to do both, okay? So the first way is just go, okay, you're not good enough. What does that even mean? Who determines how good you are? By whose standards? So whose standards decide this for you?
My sister.
Oh, there you go. All right. So would you like to remove your sister's standards? So instead of having to be good enough, we can just remove her standards because they have nothing to do with you. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Cool. Okay. So we allow your sister to be on her path. And whoever's listening to this right now and getting this healing, this could be your mom, this could be your dad, this could be your siblings. You're going to remove whoever it is for you. Could be governments, could be universal, whatever you believe is that standard. A lot of times it's partnerships, romantic partnerships. Okay, so we're releasing your sister to your sister, really releasing you to you. You two are two separate people, so we're going to separate your energy so that you know that you're different from your sister. Okay. All right, and then the other thing we're going to do is just download what it would feel like to be good enough if it was actually important, if that actually mattered. So would you like to know what it feels like to be good enough?
Yes, and deserving of it.
So the secret is nobody has to be deserving either. Because when you think about it, every single person on this planet, every single animal, even the dolphins in the oceans and the whales, all have access to air. You can have a rapist in jail, they have access to air. So if everybody is deserving of air, which is going to keep you alive in the next 3 minutes, who really has to be deserving and who determines what is deserving and not? I figure if you're deserving of air, you're deserving of anything. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So deservability isn't important. You're going to get what you want, get what you need. We don't have to put deservability into the equation. So we're just going to be in the art of allowing that healing to take place for you to understand that concept so we don't have to fight or argue or try to make ourselves believe this concept. It's just a fact. So we're just going to take it in as a fact. Bring in the comprehension. Okay, do you have to be worthy and deserving to get what it is that you want out of life?
No. Yes?
Perfect.
No?
You're on no. Yes, see, you're feeling the shift. It's shifting right now. You're like in the in-between. Like,
I'm in between.
You're rebalancing. That was hilarious. You're like, I'm on the fence with that one. See, before it was like a definite. Now you're on the fence. That's a good sign. All right, you're going to be experiencing something for about, let me check in, it's about 8-9 hours. And you'll probably wake up. They're showing me a good night's sleep. So once you wake up, you're going to have a shift in your thinking, so you won't have to worry about deservability and worthiness anymore. So you're good.
And how do we learn what you do? Because I love this.
Oh, that's so awesome. People have been asking me that, and I have been told that I'm going to be teaching this. I have goals to teach sometime this year, to start planning my teaching of this, but I have to learn from my spiritual guides on how to actually teach this information, because as far as I know, nobody is doing exactly what I'm doing. We all are using a very high frequency that's not on this planet. However, it's not the same frequency. And so as far as I know, I'm the only one who's using this one specifically, and there's a lot of healers that are using their exact, frequency that nobody else is using either. So hopefully I will be teaching this soon. But keep in touch. Get on Facebook. You can email me. And I love that. That's so funny. Thank you. That actually means a lot.
Oh, well, thank you. What you did for me tonight, it means a lot. And in infinite love and gratitude, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joellen. Have a great night, and I appreciate your calling in. So, real quick, everybody, if you're listening to the show here on the Rated G Radio Facebook page, Rated G Radio page on Blog Talk Radio, there is a link to Adrien's website. If you'd like to schedule a private consultation over telephone or Skype, you can click there. But also, if you email her, just go to her site and put in your contact information. She's giving away free healing to everybody who emails her who has listened to the show. You can also like her Facebook, I call it the fan page, but it's really her private group for all of the work that she does. So if you'd like to be part of that and get updates all of the time, I make it easy. Just click the link. Click it. do it now. And you can join and get all of the cool things that are there. Our next, and it's probably going to be our last question, it might be, we might have time for one more, is coming from Dee. And Dee wanted to know about employment opportunities. And Dee has now left the chat room, but I think she's still listening. So I don't know if you can answer that, Adrien, or
I don't know
help
what that
her.
means.
Okay. Well, then.
So that means it sounds like she's looking for work. Work is not coming, and she
Correct.
would like to have work. So we can definitely send energy out there to people who want to create money. I wouldn't do work specifically, and the reason I wouldn't do work specifically is because there's many of us that are meant to own our own businesses. We're meant to help other people in certain ways. We've actually come to this planet to do this specific work. So if you're out there trying to get a job, they're going to keep falling through. They'll start laying you off. They're going to be firing you. You will keep going through the same scenario until you go, universe, I understand there's something else I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm going to choose to do that as you show it to me. I promise that I will do it as you show it to me. In the meantime, I'd like to make an income. And usually things will shift immediately. So the healing that I'm going to send out to any and everybody who's going through this experience, not knowing how to make their money, not knowing how to survive, not knowing how to help the planet, not knowing what they're actually meant to be doing, we're just going to send out the message and the energy that we are willing to understand. We are willing to listen no matter how it looks. If it looks different than what we're used to, looks different than what we were expecting. Because a lot of people get angry when it's like, well, it should look this way. And what I like to tell people is that we have a very limited amount of energy and understanding with our brains. The universe knows what's truly going to make you happy. The universe knows the contracts that you've had and that you've come in with. They know your gifts and your skills, and it could be things that you don't even realize that you have. And so unlocking that, the resistance to it, and opening up the allowing and the willingness is going to make miracles happen. It reminds me of Madonna. Now, Madonna really wanted to be an actress. She wanted to be a huge actress, and the only thing that really worked out for her was music. But then one day this one role comes along that changes her whole entire life. It was Evita. And so she didn't end up being this huge, famous actress except for one moment in her life doing something she was meant to do, which was sing. And so, again, it's one of those things that even the most famous people in the world had an idea of something completely different, and they're still stuck on their path. And it looks a little bit different. Maybe she wasn't expecting it to look like Evita and expecting it to happen later on in life, where it looks like she had 10, 15 years of failure when it comes to movies. But in reality, it was a really huge success, and all of us will experience the same things when we're in resistance. We just have to keep moving forward. So there you go.
There we go. Well, should we roll the dice real quick, Adrien, and take one other caller, or should
Might
we?
as well.
Okay, I'm all for it. Then our final call of the night. I am too, especially when I've got you on the show. I know I'm in good hands here. Our next caller is Ashley, and Ashley, you are now live with Adrien. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. And hey, Adrien, thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. So we have 3 minutes. So what would you like me to work on?
Actually, I think that the last caller actually handled a lot. I already feel my energy shifting. But I just wanted to ask a quick question for you. I've been manifesting money, and it's been working. Did you have any suggestions or guidance to manifest in larger quantities, cash flow, and abundance?
You know, I actually have a webinar called In Suffering, and understanding the purpose that you're here will actually bring more money your way. But everybody has to realize that we're like this stepping stone, right? So it's not about being born and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I have a career at age 2 and I'm a billionaire. It's the idea that working on your spirituality, you know how far you're getting into your spirituality by how much you're attracting. So. Okay. Because bringing money into your life is about receiving. So how well are you receiving? And as a healer, because I know that you're a healer in a lot of different ways, but as a healer, we tend to give and not receive. Now, millionaires and billionaires are excellent at receiving. They know how to receive. Okay. Famous people, they get free stuff all day long. So if you're not in this place of receiving, you will know by how much you're bringing in. And so when the increase of income comes, you'll go, okay, my receiving is getting better. So I would just say stay on your spiritual path, keep working on you. It's not about the money, it's about allowing your spirituality to take hold of your life, and then you'll start seeing the rewards come in through money and love and everything else in between. But
Perfect.
Yeah, the webinar is a really, really
online?
good one.
Can I download that?
It is. It's at my store on my website, lovingyou.guru. It's there.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Did we do good?
Here I am thanking
Ashley
for the call, and I'm going on and on and on and saying thank you so much, thank you, Adrien. I'm doing all of it, and then I'm like, I'm looking at my button, and I have myself on mute so I don't have too much noise. God. Okay, there we go. So I'm telling everybody we're going to end the show tonight with a little bit of Airly Brighton, a brand new song that she has out called Unbroken. A big favorite of mine, and this is a star on the rise, absolutely for sure. And Adrien, you're going to be coming back closer to Christmas time. We don't have a date worked out yet, but I can't wait to have you back, and we're going to be talking about more of your healing opportunities for the listeners until then. So anything else you want to add real quick?
Nope, that was it. You did great.
Oh, you did great. Thank you very much. And listeners,
you.
Thanks very much for listening. Here's Airly Brighton, Unbroken. Go buy it on iTunes tonight.
Remember when you said together till the end, we would stay together, chasing down forever. Yet here I stand alone on this broken road, searching for my shattered heart, the pieces scattered. Every broken promise made makes me strive to push through pain, and I will fight the darkness with all the light I have within. Every page before this time now erased from my mind. I'll divide my weakness into strength. Though my memory is haunted, my hope remains undaunted, stronger than before. Through all your light spoken, I remain unbroken, stronger than before.
You've been listening to Rated G Radio.